Perfect.
Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and today, once again, we're joined by the lovely Melorina. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
And returning to the show, part-time host, the sexy Classic Go. How you doing?
Hey, doing great, man. It's a beautiful day outside. I got to go on a little hike. I'm
Nice.
revitalized
Wow.
and ready to go.
Nice. Okay, cool. And welcoming first time to the show, we have Kippzo. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
We're doing wonderful. Glad to have you. All right, guys, I'd like to start the show off by thanking our tank patrons in Thick Lizzie, Croxford, Braxton, and Turtle Whale. I'd like to remind everybody we stream the show live on twitch.tv/BlazinBob. That's BLAZZINBOB. We're going to get started off with voicemails. Then we're going to go into, we got one email this week that kind of interesting and thought I'd bring up. And then after that, we'll do what we've been doing lately. Then there was no news this week, really. So we won't be doing the news. But at the end, just like we do with everybody who's new on the show, we're going to get to know Kippzo a bit and a bit about his content as well. So strap in and let's go. Do you guys want to, let's start with the email. Mel, do you mind reading that? It's at the bottom of the notes.
Sure. It says, "Hello, Reloaded crew. I'm sure that you're definitely not flooded with opinions on the WoW token, so I figured I would write in and give an opinion. I think I am in the same camp as the rest of the group from the last episode, in the fact that I really do not care. There is not a lot that I spend gold on besides consumes on occasion and some previous deviant delight. However, I do have a tinfoil hat conspiracy. I think that the WoW token was an act of desperation on the side of the Classic dev team. It has been rumored before that the team does not get a lot of attention or resources from Activision Blizzard. And I think that is why there has been such a low effort in banning bots and tackling the gold buying issue. However, by throwing in the WoW token, the team can force Activision Blizzard's hand in banning bots to not lose out on money from third-party sites. If the token means more attention and resources will be put towards botting and gold selling, then cool, I guess. But it might be too little too late at this stage of the game. Would love to hear your thoughts. For the Alliance, Trophias, Westfall Alliance."
Well, first off here, since these guys weren't on the show last week, just what's your kind of thoughts on the token? This is a no hate zone too, so you can say whatever you want and we won't go, ah!
Well,
It's about time that they put it in. I'm so thankful. As you heard from my call-in video last week.
True, I forgot.
I get to go out and hike even more than I had to previously. I can just buy the token, get my gold, buy consumes. No, I'm really not buying any tokens. They've gotten so cheap. It's like 5,500 gold for $20 right now on NA.
There's people
who's buying that.
There's people buying gold illegally and then buying the token and basically getting their sub for like $5 or something like that. That's what someone told me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like unreal.
Our GDKP payout hasn't changed, so like I've really not seen a difference in the players. So like to me, yeah, like
And it's,
I don't see any changes. Yeah.
It's a hard time to see the difference, though, to be fair, because everybody's kind of in saving mode at the moment and paying and spending out quite a bit less than like they would be at the start of a tier, right? So It still kind of remains to be seen what's going to happen when TOC comes out. And yeah, I don't know. But how about you, Kippzo?
I think it's disgusting. I think the original developers would be appalled at the WoW token even being thought of putting in the game. And I think the further that we stray from the original developers' values and vision, the just weirder and worse. The game just makes less and less sense, you know, in multiple different ways. Like everything that I can point to, every single little example, there's like even like little tiny things matter just a huge amount, and all those things are like forgotten because all those people stopped working for Blizzard like 15 years ago now. So um, yeah, I don't know. It's sad to see, but I mean, it was inevitable, I guess. Blizzard's just going to make money either way. So
I have to agree that I think the original devs would be appalled. But I also have to think to myself, like, it was a different day and age, and it was a different reason for people to make games. And like, they loved making games for people. And I don't know if we're ever going to get that back. Like, I blame mobile for screwing us with, pay to win mechanics that, and then the whales that pay into it that make it that way. Like, I'm just like, I don't like it either. I have said that, but I'm also just like beaten down, like just whatever, I was kind of like, I watched your tier list video and you talked about kind of just being like bummed out about the game. I mean, I went even more raid loggy after the token. Like I was already kind of doing it because it's prior to a new tier. I like to take a break, but I just kind of was like, like it, and it just, yeah, was kind of busted down by it. But Mel, you never got to give your take.
I don't really have a strong opinion, to be honest. I don't need gold, so it doesn't impact me in that way. I don't know how. I mean, I can see why people don't like it. I can see why people want it.
Yeah, I can see a lot of sides too, but
yeah,
I don't like pay to win aspects of games. But I mean, it's only pay to win really if you're doing GDKPs. So there's that argument, like, because everything else is so cheap.
People are paying to win anyways, I guess, is my thing, right? It's like you can legalize marijuana in a state and it's not, oh, wow, now people smoke marijuana. No, they were all smoking marijuana before. You probably have a few more that are smoking it now because it's legal. But you had a good amount of your population already smoking the marijuana, right? So I don't know. I feel like that's where we're at. It's like it was happening anyways. So
it was it, but okay. So the conspiracy thing is interesting. I think. I don't know. I mean, I guess that could be a thing. Like, I did wonder if they're going to start cracking down on the gold buying harder now that they're, that there's they can make money off of it. So I was curious about that, but I don't know. What do you guys think of the conspiracy theory that they're pushing the WoW token to force Activision's hand in banning bots?
I haven't seen that many bots lately. I'm going on every other day with that intent to just /who Botanica /who Mana Tombs, and there's like only people in there that actually look legit now. Whereas 2-3 weeks ago, you would type in any TBC dungeon really, and you would have loads of DKs in there, sometimes pallies. Like Shattered Halls would always have Death Knights in there. And now I'm not really seeing that. And I'm wondering, Black Temple is unavailable right now. So
yeah, I saw that.
Was Black Temple like a bot raid that people were going in there and botting to get gold in there? And maybe they made a tweak and it screwed something up. So it's going to come back, I guess, on Tuesday. But yeah, I tried to go in there right before the show and you can't get into Black Temple right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that blue post.
I mean, maybe they got that first little bump from their WoW token funds, and they were like, okay, we can pay an extra dev to take care of some bots or something.
Yeah, he was like, well, I spent the afternoon banning bots, banned about 250,000.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next post and like on Tuesday or something that's like we banned 500,000 bots.
Yeah, it's so interesting, like how many different places are like farming places. Because I remember we went to do a mount run at Karazhan, and we're like, why is there 150 people outside of Karazhan? Like, what's going on right now?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting. I'd love to hear some more on that. Like, I forgot to put that blue post in the notes, but I'd love to hear some more on why it's, because all it said was Black Temple is currently unavailable, right? I believe that's all it said.
In order to address issues impacting the game service, we've temporarily closed Black Temple. Like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, I have no clue. I just saw it pop up on my phone because we've got the blue tracker in our Discord. So like, I see it pop up. So I have no idea, man. It is definitely bizarre, though. Do you have any
thoughts? Are there a lot of
thoughts?
bots in Black Temple? Do you know? Like, is that a botting place?
I had never heard of it. No, I mean, I don't know. Like,
I went in there recently to try to farm, and you have to kind of kill that first boss in order to really get to any spots that I would consider farmable. So I don't know if anybody could actually have a good gold farm in there in the first little room, but maybe.
I forget if that change is because they made that change to lock out raid dungeons because of Karazhan, because of Simonize. But like, I didn't know if that went to like because like Kara's weird, because Kara, you could like, because we've done it on accident many times doing a mount run, you could zone in as a party. And I don't think that was the case prior to like when we were doing it in TBEC. And I wonder if that's the way they fixed it to where you couldn't, like it locked you out. Like I wonder if it was a Band-Aid fix and if raid dungeons are still infinitely resettable. Because if that was the case, you could just kill the first trash, right? And then just reset, first trash, reset, first trash, reset.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing, guessing.
Yeah, maybe Death Knights could go in there and solo a lot better than a Boomy.
Maybe. Or just a Prot Pally or something, too.
Mm.
I don't know. But all I know is the WoW token conversation has just gotten me, like, mentally tapped at this point. So I'm hoping we get to talk about some other stuff today. But we got two voicemails. Unless you had anything to add to that, to the end of that, Kippzo?
Not really. I mean, for me, it kind of looks like the WoW token thing is like coming from above the devs down, because they don't really the devs didn't really mention or tell us anything about it until there was a huge amount of backlash. So I'd be surprised if it was like the devs doing this in response to Blizzard. I think it's right that they're getting like almost no support from Blizzard, but I don't see like, I feel like it was a top-down decision. And it's also like Diablo 4 is released right now. I think it's, my accounting friend told me it's like the end of the second quarter or something like that. They make all these decisions like with shareholders in mind. So I'd be really surprised if the devs, even if they were even asked if it was okay. I think Blizzard just decided that they were going to do it.
Yeah, I feel like it's a happy thought that like they're trying ways to help us, but I don't know. I feel like
they should give us RDF for the token, right? Like,
that's what I said.
Yeah,
It'll
or at
be in the
least
shop
the
next.
quest helper that they removed, you know, for our immersion, of course. That's why they removed it.
Yeah. That's one less add-on I would have to have. So yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Like, there are times where they're like, well, we're not going to put in RDF because we feel like it doesn't go with the values, but we're going to put in the WoW token, right? Like, which is like so opposite of what people want. But
yeah, it's, I don't know. And yeah, and then there's a lot of people saying that in the community council talk that they said that they were going to put RDF in, They just said they were talking about it all the time. That's all I heard. I didn't hear any dates or plans or anything. I just heard them say we're like, basically that whole video is like them just saying, like, they could have just said no comment to every question and we would have got the same answers. Like it was funny. But I don't know, whatever.
It was like they asked him a question. It's like, what's your favorite color? Oh, well, for breakfast this morning, I had an egg with bacon and sausage, and then I had
Funny
some
that you
orange juice with it.
that, so orange is probably up there, but it can't be decided quite yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one thing that was hilarious though is when Tim like accidentally said something. What was it? He accidentally said something. You could tell he did not want to say that. It was like, shit, what do I do now? What do I do now? I forget what it was, dang it. It was about the shards for Valinir in Ulduar. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, well, let's listen to this first voicemail.
What is up, Warcraft Reloaded podcast? Sorry about the last call.
Wait, can you guys hear that?
Nope. Anyway, I know you guys always, like, Cataclysm almost always comes up in every podcast, and I never hear any discussion about the content. And what I'm personally excited for, if and when Cataclysm is released and the next expansion in Classic, is an item called Fangs of the Father, and I'm hoping that your guests today know of what I'm talking about. They're the second best thing in Cataclysm for me. First being Blood Death Knight, because oh my god, are they incredible. Anyway, can't wait to hear the podcast. Talk to you guys later. Peace.
Anybody know what that is?
The Rogue Legendary?
Yeah, I didn't know. I had to look it up right before the show.
He's
been asking me in chat.
I was just waiting for somebody to say.
Yeah, just a heads up, though. You should go back and listen to episode 118. 118. The whole episode was about Cataclysm, different content in Cataclysm. It was me, Mel, Willie, and Scotty J. And they both played a ton of Cataclysm. I mean, we talk about it the entire time, but I looked up the Fangs of the Father, and damn, that's a set bonus right there.
What is it?
So your melee attacks have a chance to grant Shadows of the Destroyer, increasing agility by 15, stacking up to 50 times. Each application past 30 grants an increasing chance to trigger Fury of the Destroyer, which immediately grants 5 combo points and causes your finishing moves to generate 5 combo points, last 6 seconds. So you do like four like finishing moves all in 6 seconds, like maybe 3 or 4. It sounds pretty like sick, but I didn't play enough of Cataclysm to ever get these. So do they look cool?
Yeah.
Coolish. Yeah. I don't know.
Longer.
Anybody here a Cataclysm person? Like, I'm probably gonna check it out if it comes out, but like, I'm still not excited about it. Even those daggers don't really get me excited. But I don't know. What about you guys?
Are you excited about
fun.
Cataclysm?
Yeah. Or is there anything in Cataclysm you would be excited about?
RDF.
Random Dungeon Fighter. Kippzo, are you a past Wrath guy?
I remember the dungeons are supposedly hard. I played on a few Kata private servers, but I quit in the first patch in actual Kata, so I don't really remember, to be honest. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it's going to be way less people than Wrath. The population is just way different, and there's already like nobody playing now, so it's going to be only like people who really want to play.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I hear the raids are great, right? But that's like all I hear. And if that's the case, I mean, I can raid log. I mean, I can do that.
There's
I
like
played-
archaeology again. If they, dude, put in like a $20 skip archaeology thing, I'll buy that. I don't care. That was the worst profession of all time. I hated it.
I barely remember it. I know
I
I
don't
did
remember it
some
at
of
all.
it, but I barely remember it. And Scotty J loves archaeology. I'm just like,
Really?
okay.
I know he is like deep in Kata right now, trying to get videos ready for like a year from now.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be excited about it, but I don't know. I feel like I'll be playing hardcore and then raid logging. So, but you never know. I'm gonna give it a try. So we'll just see. My opinions can change pretty rapidly with the right, the right, I don't know, poking and prodding and good points and bad points, everything else.
Was transmog and what was the reforging? Did both of those come out in Kata?
Yes.
So I think Transmog was at the end, right?
Because I'd be down
I
for
don't
some
remember.
transmog.
Ugh, transmog. Yuck.
I know you don't like it.
Just if you put it in, just put it in toggle client side. So we can have it on if we want.
Bob
We can
doesn't
have it
to
off
deal
if we
with
want.
it.
I don't know.
Listen, Bob says he hates it, and he always is like, well, I'm going to save this for transmog. And I'm like, listen, Bob, you can't talk all this shit on hating transmog and then fill your bank with things that you want to save for transmog.
From old stuff, like just saving for transmog. But I think transmog would be cool if you could toggle it. Like if I was in town, like transmog competitions would be fun. Like that type of stuff would be fun. But I just don't want it in my game all the time. Like, so I guess like that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess you could do, huh?
I think when I think it was an actual system. I don't know if it was just a private server thing. When I leveled 2 months ago on one, it had for professions, there were some things that would give you like 5 points towards your profession skill up, and that was pretty cool. I think that was actually back in the day.
I thought they like dumbed down professions quite a bit in Kata, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, some would give you like 2 skill ups instead of 1. Some would give 5.
I don't remember. I do think the reforging thing is kind of neat. It's just kind of neat to be able to take an item and get something, useful out of it. But is Cataclysm where like all the stats start to become homogenized? Like if you're a tank, you wear the same gear as DPS as you do tank. I know that's the way it is in retail now, but like I don't know if that's when it starts to change. I don't think it is.
I think so. They change stats quite a bit. Like they get rid of spell power and they just make everything intellect.
Really?
Yeah, and they add mastery. But I don't know if they do. I don't know if it's as full blown as retail yet, but it definitely starts down that path.
Yeah, I'm not a big. I don't like the homogenization and stuff, and yeah, I don't know, man. This is like, guys, I'm sorry, but not like the podcast could end in Cataclysm. Just let you guys know. I've told you that many times. If it's not fun and I don't love it, I'm not going to do a show about it every week. So I don't care how popular it is, but yeah, I don't know. All right, let's listen to this. Let's listen to this other one because I don't know. Do you play any hardcore, Kippzo?
I have, but it's just like I don't know. I'm not super hyped up about it. And then I started having internet issues, and then I was like, okay, well, I should probably not take this super. And they announced the hardcore servers, so I'm like, I'll just wait until then. Why burn myself out now? But
That's where I'm at.
That's where
I
Mel's
want to
at.
start a hardcore character, and I'm like, is it really worth it right now? I'll probably get halfway, and then something will come out, or
Yeah, who would start a hardcore tune right now?
me'd go. I mean, but
It sounds like you have.
yeah, but I mean, it's for streaming, for content. Like we have a good time.
They're just practicing for the real thing.
Yeah.
Just.
Mhm.
I mean, really, hardcore is all about knowledge and less about skill. Like there's definitely skill involved. Like I can't tell you how many death clips I see where these people are just running with their backs facing the mob, and I'm like, sidestep. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's actually it's made me kind of cringe at the player base, because I'm like, how I knew that people are I don't know. I knew that people don't really try that hard, but you watch some of these death clips, man, and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Dude, and
But
some of the people that are doing it, I'm just like, okay, dude, you raided a really good guild in Wrath. Like, what the hell are you doing? Sidestep, but it's so many people just don't know, and yeah. I don't know. It drives me absolutely nuts, though. But just for any listener listening, if you sidestep, your back is not to the mob. You do not get dazed. So, it's a pretty huge thing when you're trying to run from something that's going to kill you. So, just heads up, guys.
well, it also lets you dodge and parry attacks. Players can't dodge from behind. So
True.
if you're running away, something hits you, it's guaranteed to hit you.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's just it's and don't jump. Don't jump. Just run. Don't jump. All right. Well, we'll go on to the next one, because this one it's an interesting thought, and I'm curious what you guys think of it too.
Hey, Bob, Mel, whoever else is there. So, surprise, surprise, I have a question regarding hardcore, believe it or not. Yes, we all know about the hardcore servers, but what about endgame? Now, I know a lot of people probably don't play hardcore 4, specifically endgame, but what's going to happen when everybody hits to level 60? Well, at least on those servers. Is it going to be one of those where, oh crud, your tank died and now these other 38 people are just going to wait? Or do you think it's just going to lead to a bunch of people getting to level 60 and then, well, do we just wait for them to level up, guys? Or, well, probably not. I mean, for me, if that was me, I'd be like, I think I'm just done. The other question is, what do you think about the idea of Blizzard making a hardcore mode for Wrath and Dragonflight? Yes, hardcore Dragonflight is a thing, and just to clarify one thing really quick here, no, you are not immoral from 1 to 60. Yes, I know most people that are listening as play Classic and Wrath, but just to clarify, you can die from 1 to 60. You can. You might have a little bit harder time dying, but it is difficult in its own way. And yes, I find that fun, as weird as people may think that. Anyway, but that's kind of what I was wondering. Do you think it's going to be one of those where people just get bored and quit, or what do you think the implications are going to be with that? I don't see Blizzard selling a res. I don't. But like you guys said last week, I could see them going something like selling, okay, well, if you pay us $15, we'll transfer your character to a softcore server. I don't know. Because the one thing I would say about hardcore, where's going to be the longevity? I mean, because realistically, Error only picked up because of hardcore. And I can't see a lot of people sticking it out if that just kind of dies off. I just think it would have been better if they would have done a hardcore version for every version of the game, because they could have expanded, achievements, things of that nature. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to ask this week. Hope you guys have a good show. This is Mega Casual. Sign out.
You just start with, I have no opinion on hardcore and Dragonfly. Do it if you want to. I really have zero cares for that, but sure, have fun. Second off, I think there will be a small portion of the population that pursues raiding and all of that in hardcore. I think for the majority of people, it'll be a fun challenge to go get a hardcore character up to 60. And there's a lot of people that just continue to try and have never gotten a character up to 60,
The
right?
majority.
So,
like that's
yeah.
that's something I want to clear up for. Like, I think a lot of people listen to the hardcore thing and they think everybody does it. There's tons of like really skilled content creators that play all day that have never done it, like that have tried and never been able to. There's the majority of people never get to level 60. So I don't think like everybody's going to get there type of deal. So yeah, the hype will die down, but it just depends on how much they keep the hype going. It depends on like how they release the servers, like, but really the whole point is the leveling process for a big part of us. I don't even know if I'm going to raid in it because it's just like, yeah,
For me, it's like a fun challenge.
Yeah, you
when
go
there's not a
again.
lot going on in the main game, right?
Yeah.
Like when there's not a lot going on in the main game, it's a fun challenge to keep me engaged, and I'd rather do that than go farm gold or do things like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, but what do you guys think?
I think for the average player, if they do assemble a raid and your main tank does die, you'll do your best to help them out within the rules. And then if there are no rules, then your tank just has to really love leveling, I guess. And then at the extremes, account sharing. People are just going to account share. You'll jump on the next tank, and the same guy will be playing that character. That's how it works. That's just no matter what Blizzard does. That's what people do on private servers, even without hardcore. That's what Mitch is doing right now on hardcore. You just get people to level your characters. That's how it works if you're, taking it that seriously. So,
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, there's gonna be definitely the bigger creators are gonna be paying people to just work up another character for them, like because and I would suggest not watching those people because they're not really in the spirit of it. So, but there's all kinds of stuff that's like right now. Like I agree with Crix. He was on Classic Life the other day. Him and Sarth had Zaru on, and Crix was just like talking smack, and I talk smack right back at it. Flask of Petrification, when you screw up in a dungeon or a raid, and then everybody pops it and leaves group, it's just cringe. Like it's cringe as hell, and they didn't do it in Road to Rag for a reason, and after that. They started doing it. I don't know when exactly, but hype died down. Like, it's just, I mean, it's lame. Like, I consider that a wipe. So I know some people I like a lot of the people that do it. I'm friends with them too. Like, but I would tell them to their face, it's cringe. Like, it's really cringe.
I mean,
I agree.
Since I play Boomy, my journey in hardcore would end at 60 because there's no way I'm going to raid as a Boomy with one life.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's
I am
so many classes that do really well leveling and then just don't do good in the end game in vanilla, right? Like,
like I've been thinking of leveling a multi-life character, whatever you want to call it, softcore character on Classic era again. And then maybe like trying a raid just to remind myself how bad it was. But as hardcore, like I wouldn't want to. Like, meh. So yeah, I'd level a Boomy up to 80 or 60 and then chill.
Yeah, I guess like I like hardcore because like, you do it with a duo or a trio sometimes, but I like the fact that if I screw up, it screws me instead of somebody else. And like a raid just might be too much anxiety for me, honestly. Like I have enough anxiety as a main tank for my like casual weekend raid. Well, I'm not even main tank anymore. I'll talk about that though and what we've been doing lately. Yeah, like I have enough anxiety just with people, like, if we wipe, I'm like, oh, I feel like it's my fault, right? Like, so, yeah, I don't know that, like I might be down to like rush to like 1 kill on rag or something, like, but it's not something I would do on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis.
I think they're doing Nax right now, the hardcore elite guild.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's insane. But yeah, like I think if they have a progressive server, it'd be better. But if they just have everything unlocked, like you could go technically to Nax day one, that'd be.
I'd love to see people try.
It'd be great, but yeah, like I think everybody would.
I'd love to even see people try if they started a brand new server and you couldn't move anybody to it. And I'd love to see people try in pre-bis to go kill Nax week 1. Good freaking luck, dude.
Even
like,
BWO.
No frost resist, like all that crap. Yeah. Oh, that would be fun to watch. Like that would have been fun to watch if Season of Mastery did that. Like then I would have watched like actual real players rather than just hardcore players. Like that would have been interesting. But I feel like that's how the servers are going to come out. I feel like they're not going to do phases for hardcore servers.
Oh, everything.
Depends on how lazy they are.
Yeah.
I mean, hardcore server would be the place that would get the least pushback on that, I think, just because if you open everything, people are still going to go through the content the way that it progresses because it's hardcore and you lose your character, right? Like, I don't see a hardcore server guild going straight into Nax and crossing their fingers that they can all survive, right? Like,
well, and Vanilla's so weird because, I mean, we were running Molten Core till the end to get certain items, you know, like, do I want to do that on hardcore, running all the raids every week? Like, I don't think my heart could take it. But there'll be some people that do it, and I'll watch them. But yeah, I'm just about leveling. Just about leveling. It's the only time I enjoy leveling is doing it in hardcore. So, I don't know. Anybody else have anything left to say on that?
I'd give it a shot. I'd give raiding and hardcore a shot if I just had nothing else going on, I guess. But if there was anything else to do, I'd probably do that instead.
I'm excited for like the race to world first for the 5th time, like Molten Core clear. That sounds kind of hype.
I did join Oppie's guild, but I don't have any plans or ambitions to be in the raid. But I thought, you know, maybe if I could help with consumes different things, like if I could hit 60 in time and trade and help them, you know, complete the challenge, like that would be cool just to be part of it. So
yeah, that was a great episode of Classic Life. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's on YouTube from Sarth and Crix.
Which one? The one that they just did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Zaryu guesting. Zaryu is amazing.
I'm only halfway through it, so no spoilers.
Okay.
But yeah.
There's so many cool talking points in there, man.
Okay, all right. Well, let's move on to what have you guys been doing lately in Era, Wrath, whatever. Who wants to go first?
I think Mel's saying she's got her hand up over there.
She looks pretty hype, yeah.
Yeah, Mel has not been doing much. I think I raided Tuesday, and that was about it. I did take a step back on my Paladin, so I'm not doing the weekend raid tanking anymore. I just didn't have time. I said I'd fill if they needed me, but I didn't have time, and I needed to get a ret spec, and I really didn't want to do that.
Well, and just like we were talking about, we were going through logs the other day trying to figure out different things, and I was talking to Mel about healing as discipline, and she was telling me all the little tricks to get mana back and everything, and she was like, see, that's why I don't want to play Pally, because there's probably a ton of things like these that I just talked to you about that I don't know, and I don't have time to go find out, and I feel like, you know, I'm wasting others' times. I wish everybody felt like you did, like when they couldn't properly perform on a class, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't like playing a class that I can't master, don't have the time to get really good at. I feel just like it's not helping anybody. And
That's why I told you.
when we first started, it was supposed to be really casual. We weren't going to do any hard modes, right? And so I was like, okay, I can take that, right? Like, I don't need to be perfect. And then we started doing hard modes and stuff, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I should probably step down here, because... And also, Bob and I both being tanks, I think eventually was going to screw some things up when we couldn't come on a weekend.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, that's why I told you make another priest. Like, I always thought it was the weirdest thing when people made the same class, and I made a second rogue and have just been having a blast. Like, I just get double parse practice every week, and it's freaking awesome. Like, I've been
I did start getting my shards for my Valinir on my priest, so that's exciting.
Oh,
I have 6.
Yeah.
If you give me those 6, I can have 30. And then I can get my Valinir tonight. So
No.
Booby with Valinir.
It's happening. Either tonight or next week. Tonight if I get super lucky, but probably next week.
I'm sending you good luck. Good luck.
Did anybody else's raid this week have insane like Valinir drops, or did we just get lucky?
Yes.
We had 7 or 8, I think.
In all the raids I've done this last week, there were a lot more drops, which makes me wonder shadow change.
We only had 4.
Yeah.
We only had 4 in ours, because I only got 4.
But then in the other, you weren't in that. I think the other raid we had 6.
Well, that's rude.
I don't know.
I mean, we needed it because we've had a lot of weeks where we've had 1 to 3. So we finally we finally got a good week.
My dog's happy for you.
Yeah.
Happy for you.
And they're starting to go to our priest and our guild as well.
See, eventually at the very end, the priests start getting the Valinirs, you know?
Third one, yep.
Yep, but
about time.
Hopefully more drop, because she's supposed to finish out in GDKPs, and so we have to find a GDKP to get her in, to get her last ones. Like, if we don't get them before.
How many weeks do we have?
How many weeks do we have? We'll probably still raid Ulduar on the Tuesday before it comes out, so 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I need 24.
Ooh, that does.
All right, that's doable. We got this.
What's that, 8 a week?
It's fine.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally got that.
Yeah.
Oh, anybody else? What about you, Kippzo? What have you been doing?
Like just in WoW, like in Wrath,
or like any World of Warcraft.
Well, been raiding a little bit more recently. This is like I'm in a parse guild, so this is the time where we actually like get to play the game now, because the phase is ending and the parses are going to get locked in. So that's exciting on my main rogue. Then my hunter has a raid now, which it didn't for like half of World War. And then I re-rolled to go play with one of my buddies. Just, I don't know, to raid more. I raided on a Fire Mage. I just joined them like 2 or 3 weeks ago on Grobulus Alliance. So I have, I think, 14 level 80s now. They all have engineering. So
Damn.
Yeah, and like the Joyous Journeys came back, and I was like, do I level every class's alliance? And I was just like, no, there's no reason to. I could do it and then make like leveling guides for YouTube, but then I was like, who is leveling right now? Like, who's gonna watch these?
You're like, okay, so this is how the guide starts. Open up the shop, boost. Oh man, then go stand in what's it called for 10 levels.
Halls of Stone or whatever. Buy some WoW tokens.
Yeah.
You could make a pretty funny parody video of that. I mean, it could be kind of funny. Man, that's crazy.
I have to actually do it though to get the footage, and I don't want to actually do it.
You're a combat rogue too, right?
Yeah, I have 2 rogues, and I usually end up playing them both as combat because just easier to get raid spots, and I do most of the damage of most assassination rogues anyway. So, but I don't know. I made the second rogue just to play assassination, But it's looking like an ICC.
Same.
They're both going to be combat anyway, so I don't know.
I did the same thing, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna play combat. Combat's just more fun.
Yeah, that's it. You just turn your brain off and just hit 2 buttons. It's not that like exciting, really.
Yes, yeah. Assassination is just. I mean, it's cool to see the big numbers and stuff, and there is some nuance to it, especially with different fights and stuff. But combat's just so fun, and like I was just like, well, I'm just gonna have both combat and just double practice, like, and just get better, because it has taken a lot of time to really, like, you know, and your videos helped me a ton through it. You know, like I played it back in the day at a high level combat, but like I'm older and like there's a lot more to know now, and like just like the tips about just knowing the times that your bubbles are going to do for your finishing moves and staggering them so that you don't have the same you know time left on one of your dots, abilities, yada yada. And like that's helped a ton, you know, like, but it's definitely a learning curve that's very different.
Yeah, it's one of those like intricate, like there's kind of like indefinite complexity. Like you could play it for like years and still be like pretty bad or still make like really newbie mistakes. It's a lot like Hunter in TBC. I really liked Hunter in TBC because you would see somebody who's like insane at the game. You'd be watching them and you watch them make like 3 mistakes in a row back to back. And you're like, what is this guy? And you like ask them and they're like, yeah, I didn't mean to do that. And you're just like, whoa. And combat's kind of the exact same way. Like even I have like from YouTube, people keep commenting like the people that I see on Warcraft logs, like almost all of them upload their VODs. And I don't know why people do this. They upload their VODs to YouTube and then there's no sound or anything. Maybe they put like some music and then they just upload the VOD and that's it. And they're like, look, I got rank 1 6 weeks ago randomly in the middle of World of War. And then I watch them and there's like tons of mistakes in there. And I'm like, man, I'd be so embarrassed. Why would you ever upload this? Like,
dude, my stream is like literally, it just should be called, oh shit, I fucked that one up. Oh, dang it, I screwed up the start of this rotation. Oh, man, damn it. Like, it's literally, I make mistakes so often. And this is the first time in Classic that my main tune doesn't have almost all 99 parses. Like, I mean, I've got them in Nax, but I mean, Nax was kind of a joke. But like, Ulduar, like, I have struggled. I've got 199 hard mode parse. I guess I haven't looked at it in a while. I might have more now, but like, I mean, I've got a lot of 97s, a lot of 96s, 95s, but like, it's hard, man. It's hard. And I just feel like if I was Assassination, I would have had quite a few 99 parses at this point. Plus, you're also usually the combat rogue is stuck exposing armor if you don't have 2 to 3 warriors. So unfortunately, my main rogue's stuck as exposed at the moment.
Even if you do have a bunch of warriors, you just like are expected to expose normally, which is, I mean, regardless of the math, it's just kind of like our job now. So it's just, you just do it. I don't know. And it helps you get brought to a raid anyway. So not only savage combat, but also the exposing.
True. True. And I'm one of the guys that, you know, kicks a whole lot and just does a lot of things that aren't easily seen, you know, by, you know, the layman eye. Like, and those are all personal DPS losses, you know, like. And
I really like that kind of stuff. That's one of the reasons why I like playing like Hunter, Rogue, and Mage, is because it has tons of stuff like that where it's like, oh, I have an ability that like deals a ton of damage to the raid on me, like a debuff or something. I'm just gonna block it off, and nobody really notices that you did that. But it made it way easier for everybody else. Like, I don't know. That's why like I did all the trash skip videos and stuff, because I like figuring that kind of stuff out. Like if there's 1 or 2 little things that I can do that just make it smoother for everybody else, even if they don't notice, I just like doing it because I don't like wiping. You know, like. Even just like the guys next to Vizax that pat around, like just throwing a distract on one of those, even if it's not necessary, like I don't want to wipe and spend like 20 minutes walking back. Like I hate that. If it happens once, it's like enough motivation for me to do it forever because I just never want to run back from that stuff ever again.
Yeah, that you have great. One of your videos pointed out things like, why do rogues never use evasion? Like, there's tons of different trash pulls and different things to use it on. Like, I mean, I pretty much have to use it at least once every Algalon kill. Like, when I go down below, if 3 of those mobs are on me, evasion, and then they run off. Like, they don't even try to attack me at that point. Like, you know, those different types of things are really neat, but most people never notice it. And like, you're very cringe if you like point it out to them. Well, I kick a lot. You know, if you see how many times I did this, you know, it's not something you can really, it's, you know, everybody sees your 99 parse. What are you going to do though? What about you, Go? What have you been doing?
I did a 15 and a half hour stream, and in that 15 and a half hours, I was farming gold for the current price of the WoW token, which was, it ended up being 6,100 gold that I got, and I think the token was like 6,000 something. So I did 13 hours, I think, out of that were like 1 hour farms, and I would just put up a poll while I was doing 1 hour. And during that hour, whoever from chat could vote on the 4 options, and then whatever won the poll, I'd go to the next spot. And I went to Molten Core. I did like Mana Tombs, Strathholm, Steam Vaults, a place in Icecrown called Mordrethar. Probably a couple other spots too, but
you know what's gross? Fun. You know what's gross, Go? You did that in 15 hours, and before the podcast today, I made 7,500 in a 10-man hour and a half GDKP. Like, I feels dirty. I feel dirty now that you just said that.
But well, now what can you do for the rest of until next week? You're one and done. You've got your gold. Now I can farm more gold than you made in your GDKP.
Yeah, we'll go to another one tonight. I got more characters.
If I had even 5 gold from every person that stopped by and was like, dude, just go do a GDKP, then I would have got the gold cap or like the token in like an hour.
Curious, Kippzo, do you do GDKPs?
I go to them. I'm friends with a bunch of people that like factory run GDKPs. And I've just never really been into it. Even in TBC, they're like a great way to make gold, but like I show up and I'm like, I'll carry, but I don't want to buy stuff. Like even paying like 5K for an item, I'm like, that's 5,000 gold. Like whenever I was like a little kid playing Wrath of Lich King, I had like 8,000 gold the entire expansion. That was the most I ever had. And so I'm like, I don't know, even if like my hunter, hunter gear is really, it's only for hunters, right? And I've min bidded like Skyforge crossbow, like everything. I've min bidded it for like 2 to 3 to 5K, and I'm still kind of like, yeah, that's like a lot of money. So like, I don't know. I have like 100K, and I show up and I say that's my budget, but I usually just like, you know, if somebody wants to fight me on something, I'm not going to bid them up on anything ever. I think the most that I've went up on somebody was like, I don't know, like 30K or something. I used to put my hunter in a lot of GDKPs because he didn't have a raid, but now I just kind of, people message me and they're like, hey, do you have a geared character for this? You don't have to buy anything. I just need the slot filled. And then I just say yes or no. So I still do them sometimes, but I just show up and I get like, I don't know, really good gold and then I leave. The payouts are absolutely insane. I had like a 24K payout once. Like it doesn't make any sense. Without RMT or bots, I would never have even remotely close to this much gold. It's ridiculous.
Same.
The game is in a horrible state, in my opinion. I don't know.
I've made like get this bad. I've made like 20% of my total gold outside of GDKPs. I do a lot of dailies. Like it's just an easy thing to do while I talk to chat during the day or something. You know, like I do a lot of dailies. I do a lot of auction house stuff. I do a lot of, you know, cooldown stuff with my professions. But yeah, I've just recently been in big GDKPs, and I think 23,000 is my biggest payout so far. But crazy. Yeah, it is like, I prefer to raid with a guild, but I was talking about it last week. Like being in a guild is like a lot of work too. Like, I don't know. There's like, it's a lot of work, like to like, you know, make yourself valuable enough to get gear given to you by the council, et cetera, and like try to juggle multiple guilds feels crazy to me. So I'm just lucky that my guild does 2 different runs of, pretty casual run and then our like sweaty casual main raid. So, but yeah, okay, go. What else you been doing?
There's sad news. We've lost 2 main raiders this week.
Oh no.
So
Yeah, that's happening all over the place, dude.
I'm kind of bummed on that. It always hurts. Like, yeah, people leave out of nowhere, and it's like, bro, I thought we were homies, and they're just gone.
I really don't like the leave out of nowhere thing. Like, I just feel like people count on you. I mean, it's like, especially if you're a tank. If you're a tank and you just leave like 2 days before raid night, like you're kind of a dick. But like, I mean, 2 weeks notice, even for a DPS, just let them, and if they let you like leave earlier than that, cool. Like, but I don't know. That's the way I feel about that. But most people don't, I don't think.
Yeah. I've been leveling up at 19 druid right now. And I cut XP off at 19. I don't plan on like doing battlegrounds or anything, but I still kind of like got all the best in slot level 19 stuff.
Oh, twinking.
Kind of, yeah.
I've got 2 level 29 twinks.
More for PvE. So I want to try to solo Wailing Caverns, Dead Mines, and SFK. Do like all 3 like back to back to back.
Okay.
And see if I can do it.
Okay, cool.
And
You're
yeah,
crazy.
I think, I know. But it's feral, so I'm like, am I really going to try that hard? So yeah, I think that's about it. That's most of it.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing just regular raiding, just basically been raid logging for the most part. We started the hardcore tunes. We're at level like almost level 10, but we plan to play more this next week. We're doing that Tuesdays during the day, and then hopefully we can find other times to do it too. But yeah, that's been pretty fun. We're doing warrior druid, and we're gonna try to 2-man dungeons, which I still think is crazy. I think if we had a trio, we should have had Table Slam join our trio, and then we probably could have 3-man dungeons. I feel pretty confident on that, but I don't know, man. We'll just have to see.
When we get to Sholo and we can't 2-man Sholo and we die, then we can restart with Table and we'll trio all the way back through.
Oh, next year, guys.
Yeah.
After we die 17 times.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't know. There's a lot of reset spots in dungeons too, so I don't know. Maybe we can do it. Like, yeah, we'll just have to see, but I don't know. But yeah, then I've been just doing the 2 raids I do with my warrior and my rogue, and then GDKPs with my rogue, and then I've been doing GDKP 10-mans with my warrior because we're no longer really doing that as a guild at the moment. So I've been just trying to like fill in Fury because I decided to step down on the second raid as the main tank. When I started out, guys, I said I was pretty sure a warrior could do it all, and I still think a warrior can. Especially, I mean, they're used in some of the best speedrun guilds to main tank, and like they're definitely good, but it's a different type of healing that has to be done, and strategies are different. Like I went to a GDKP on my second rogue, and there was this guy that tanks. I've seen him solo tank everything except for Algalon, all hard modes and 25-man, with like a 4750 gear score pally. He comes on his 5300 gear score prop warrior. We wipe on Ignis. He gets clapped by the ads, like, and then he's having a pain in the ass trying to pull in sparks from XT, and he's saying the same thing I was saying, like to my raid, like, guys, I need you to leave the spark in the foot, like literally in the foot. Paladin's taunt does damage, like Mine doesn't. So like, I need you to stand in the foot. You know, it's just such a pain in the ass. And I thought to myself, I'm griefing my raid by staying the main tank. And so I decided I'm going to be the off tank. And so if there's, you know, if you can solo tank, I'm going to go DPS. Like, and you know, like Warrior's getting better now. And so I just thought like, this is the right thing to do. And so, you know, I gave it a try, guys, but I do realize that there's a lot of different things that just make it, you know, a lot easier for a prot paladin to tank. And I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm pretty happy. I've been relearning Fury, which I've done, you know, every, you know, TBC and vanilla, but it's a little different now. But I've been having a good time doing that, and that's where I'm at there. So less stress on me, less responsibility, and more whacking the boss. So I feel pretty good about it. But yeah, that's all I've really been doing. Anybody have anything to add before we move on?
Trying to think if there's any achievements or anything I did this week. No, like phase 3 prep. I think I've got all that done.
No new mount this week?
No, I did some strat runs, strat undead, and I did finally figure out that you can like at the very end, there's the big the dude with like his stomach cut open. Sounds kind of gruesome, but
Right?
Oh.
What are you doing?
Strath Undead.
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
Ramstein.
Yeah. So like if you kill him inside of the ziggurat, whatever it's called, like where the last boss is, the little building there, then you don't have to wait the minute and a half for the ads to like open the door and come out. So it cut my runs down from like 8.5 minutes to like 4:30, like 4.5 minutes. I was like, oh, that's sick. So now I can do 5 runs a whole hell of a lot quicker. But yeah, still no extra mount.
Did I try to do that skip once? And for some reason, they never spawned. I was just stuck in the room and Aaron never spawned, nothing. I was like, maybe I did something wrong.
Yeah. I was nervous. I was like, am I supposed to be in here right now? Am I going to get like knocked out of the room? Like what's going to happen? But it was fine. That's been
a speed running strategy for a long time, even back when Duranosaur first made the speed running community back in vanilla.
Well, I just now found it out by myself.
All by yourself. All right. Well, there's not a whole lot of news, guys. If there's a topic somebody wants to bring up, we could maybe talk about something. But if not, we're just going to move into getting to know Kippzo a bit. Unless you can think of something, anybody.
Earlier on, Go said, is anybody interested in the Hardcore Classic era PTR? So like, I don't know if I'll hop on the PTR. I might watch.
Is there a PTR?
Is it up?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's not up yet.
Not up, but well, yeah, when it comes out.
They said there was going to be one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's definitely some stuff they have to do, like the if they leave everything alone, then nobody can get MC attuned without the help of a rogue, because nobody can get the BRD key because you have to die to do the quest. So.
Mm. And then like the Scarab Lord, that was a fun topic to try to listen to. Like, are they going to have Scarab Lord in hardcore server?
Dude, imagine dying to drowning in Tenaris doing the Scarab Lord chain.
Oh my god.
Just tanking those big old dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody hearths back to Moonglade as a druid, and then like that boss is right there and they just die.
Yeah, Ranicus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I guess they have world bosses right now. I wonder when they'll release the world bosses and everything.
I don't know.
I wish they were still out. I'd go farm those things right now in Wrath if they were there.
About the PTR though, like, yeah, I might check it out. Like, it just depends on the rule set they come out with, because I might check out different things. But Yeah, I mean, I'll check it out, but I don't know how much I'm going to actually play it. Like, but I don't know. TOC's coming out, so could have a lot of time that we didn't have before. Like, we go from Ulduar, and all of a sudden we're raiding 7 nights a week at the start of it during Prague, and then now we're going to go and basically just be done raiding like so fast it's going to be weird. Although people are probably going to go back to Ulduar, but I hear a lot of people say they're not.
You're gonna have to help Mel get her Valinir.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember if we're going back. I think we are going back. And since we're a loot list guild, I think our current list will carry over, but now we're gonna have new people join to fill these at least 2 spots.
Mm.
And we had talked about it the other day, like how we're gonna handle new players, new raiders. But I don't know. We didn't really reach a decision the other night. So that's gonna be weird. But I think our guild is planning on going back to Ulduar.
I feel like should still at least go to Algalon. It's so fast. I mean, you're going to get done with the other raids so quickly. Like, I don't know. I feel like at least, like, if you just want to stick to one night, you don't want to, like, use your second night. I mean, at least go up to Algalon after you kill TOC. But I don't know. Some of the stuff there is still BIS, like, in TOC. So I don't know. But my guild hasn't really decided on it, I don't think, yet. So at least we haven't heard.
And I was trying to convince mine that we should do Anixia and VOA as well. So we're getting the emblems, at least for the first like month. So we get extra emblems from those raids. I'd rather do it as a guild than try to pug it.
Yeah, Adi's interesting. Like, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how, like, I haven't looked at any BIS lists yet besides Rogue, and that's just because Simon Eyes has it in his Discord. I'm sure all the class Discords probably have it, but yeah, Onyxia's gonna be weird. It'd be kind of neat to get some of the older looking, because the items are like redone, but they're still the old looking items, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same model.
Yeah. So we gotta go get it for Transmog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Oh man. All right, well, let's move into
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
I actually do know what a WoW token is now, but in this week's discussion, we're going to get to know Kippzo a bit. So, yeah, let's start off. When did you originally start playing WoW?
Like for the first time ever,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, one of my friends got me into it. His like mom bought him the game or something, and so I played on his account at his house. And yeah, it was like I think BWL had just come out, and we had no idea what we were doing. But yeah, I've been playing ever since then. Played all the way up until the first patch of Kata, where I quit, and then just played on private servers until I resubbed for Legion. Played a little bit of Legion, but I didn't raid or anything. And then after Legion, I was like, I should have given it another chance. It wasn't that bad. So then in BFA, I raided. I did the Jaina raid. I really liked that one. Like the Jaina fight was really cool. The Battle for Dazar'alor. And then Classic came out in the middle of that raid tier, so I stopped. And then I came back for Shadowlands, and then I don't think I'll ever go back to retail after Shadowlands. That was horrible. But now we got lots of classic stuff to do, so I'm just doing the classic stuff.
Nice. Yeah. So you kind of played retail off and on here and there.
Yeah, whenever it was good, and whenever it, I don't know. It's I like the retail raids. I like how they're way harder and more complex and stuff, but it's just kind of there's so much other crap in the game that I just hate. I don't know.
It's bloated. It's so bloated.
Yeah, and Blizzard, like the classic devs are like kind of they're like they're kind of sleepy. They're not like all there. But the retail devs are just like maniacs. Like they'll swear to you that they're not going to nerf something, and then the next day they'll remove it from the game or something. I'm like, how is this even legal? Like what? Like the rogue, they nerfed Echoing Reprimand on the 4th day of the expansion. Like I was like
my
mind
God.
blown. So everybody just re-rolled Night Fae, and I was like, I don't want to be Night Fae. I'm quitting, and that was it. And I don't know. That was I don't know. So I'm sure Dragonflight's a fine expansion. People like it, but I'm not going to waste my time because you get into it, you start doing something, and then they just pull the rug out from under you. I don't. The patch notes, like you can pull up the patch notes right now. It's like 40 pages. I don't.
They redo classes a ton, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know what they like remove a talent in the middle of like it's not they like hot fix it. You could be like progressing the second week of a raid, and then all of a sudden 2 of your talents are gone. Like I don't.
Oh my God.
Who's having fun with that? I don't know. But I just don't get it, so I just stick to classic.
dragon riding was fun. We got it free from Blizzard, so we had to play a little bit. But dragon riding was
nice.
fun. That part was really fun. I really liked that. But everything else, I was like, I'm just hitting buttons. Although I will say, we like because we got a free boost with the credit we got. So I made a Drakir or whatever at the start. And like that was literally I could just hit whatever button I wanted and I just killed everything, right? And then I boosted and like going through their starting area, you get like a ton of blue, like you get all blue gear and stuff. Then I boosted a rogue with the other credit, and it's like that was not easy. I was in like all greens and I was like, I just died. What the hell happened there? Like in the Drakir, I didn't die once. Like I was just like, it was hilarious how different it was. And I even heard from somebody who plays retail that rogues were like super overpowered. I was probably playing the wrong like special occasion. And yeah, they call it pirates now. Combat's pirate or something like that. I was like, it's weird. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about retail, but so. What made you come back for Classic? It sounds like you were like a pretty big private server guy.
Yeah, I was super into private servers. So Classic was like, I mean, there's like a few people who they just stuck to private servers, but for the most part, everybody just started playing Classic. And so, like tons of people, like, I don't know, like Monkey News and people in the community, Parla, like I think Amphi speedrun on private servers. I remember he was like the top person on a TBC server one time, but yeah, it was way better. Like Classic is cool and all, but the private server community, like NOS and everything, I don't know. I feel like Blizzard should do like a world server, like everybody plays on the same server because NOS was like that. It was so awesome. You have like Norwegian people in your guild. You get like pings at 5 a.m. about a world boss, and people in China are like doing it and stuff like that. It felt amazing. But yeah, I still huge on private servers. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if we just jump back into them. It's just Classic is the thing to do right now, and so as soon as it's not the thing to do, it'll come back probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel
That's
like
always the best thing about the betas for Classic is you can play with EU people.
Yep.
Like I love that.
We
It's
actually
so much fun.
so Mod in my chat and admin in my Discord, Nettie, recently has been raiding and healing in our weekday raid, and it's just awesome just to hear a different accent. He's from England. It's neat, like I love it. And yeah, I don't know about not speaking the same language. That would be a little frustrating at times maybe, but yeah, I love diversity. So
What's your favorite private server that you've played on?
ooh, yeah.
Definitely Nost, and then probably Elysium after that. And then I guess third would be actually I don't know. Probably Nost number 1, and then Gummycraft number 2. I don't know, what does Gummy call this thing? Felmist? I think it's Felmist. Gummy servers are amazing,
I
top
don't know if I've
notch.
heard of those.
He is a solo developer.
Was Nost just Classic era, right? Like it was vanilla?
Yeah, it was vanilla, and it was way better. It was vanilla with way more progression to it and progressive itemization. So you didn't have ridiculously overpowered stuff dropping from Molten Core as soon as the game happened. Like in on NOS, you would play the way as close to the timeline as original Classic as possible, except for without the actual game client patches, of course, because they can't update your client because it's a private server. But
Wait,
yeah,
did they play with the actual like class changes throughout? Like did paladins start with having to be full ret to have kings, like those types of changes, or were the class balances all done?
No, it was as progressive server side as you can get, and then your client was unchanged. So you were on like a, what is it, 1.13 client, and that involves the talents. So they couldn't change those things because they can't, like, for private servers,
Gotcha.
they don't have BattleNet. They can't just like feed you an update and then you update your client. So they had to just go off of one client, but they restricted what items dropped from which bosses, and they made it so like. You couldn't. I think Blizzard did it with the battlegrounds. They made it so you can't do like AV as soon as Classic came out. But yeah, and they did 3 servers. Did NOS do 3? There was NOS PvP, NOS PvE, and then they did. I can't remember. I think NOS got shut down, and then Elysium took over the same database, and that was like the 3rd one. But those servers were way better. There were servers that ignored progressive itemization called Chronos servers. I think there were like 3 of them, and everybody joked about how terrible they were. And then Blizzard actually just did that. So that's the reality that we're in right now. I guess that's the timeline.
Yeah, because the items were changed a lot, and like other items added in. Like, was it the belt and the sword off of Rag? Those weren't in at the beginning, right?
Yeah, there were
Onslaught
a ton
girdle,
of
and yeah, there was a bunch. I remember was talking to Hamster Wheel the first time he came on. He was talking all about that.
Yeah, there's a few items that are just like randomly super good, just like the rest of Classic. Like in the dungeons and stuff, dungeons are like that. Like all the items are just kind of garbage, and then like 1 or 2 of them are insane. But it's just like that in the raids too. But yeah, and then after AV, they add all the items to the old loot table. So I don't know. It was just way better for like, you really didn't mind doing Molten Core for like a year because different stuff dropped the whole time. So, but yeah, I was huge on private servers. I was like as big as you could get. All I did was private servers all the time.
Did you play the same classes?
Oh yeah,
Mage, Rogue, Hunter, or?
Yeah, I played Rogue a lot because the other classes are just kind of boring in vanilla, and I like rogue leveling, so a lot of rogue. And rogues and warriors were pretty competitive. Class balance was way closer on private servers. It wasn't because you didn't have heroic strike queuing, so warriors were still number 1, but it was like maybe 4 or 5% off. It wasn't like 15 to 20% off that we're seeing now. So
there's a lot of differences, right? Like I think Meldrod told us that like the armor grades of bosses were way different on private servers, like much more armor and stuff like that. And
there's like an endless amount of hidden stuff. I mean, even the Wrath client that we have right now is like entirely unique. Like for rogues, at least, lethality and prey on the weak stacks with itself or stacks with each other, which is just weird because I don't know how it was in original Wrath, but on private servers it definitely wasn't like that because that just doesn't make any mathematical sense. But Blizzard just decided to add it in, and Simon Ice pointed out on the beta that like Blade Flurry doesn't clone offhand fan attacks, even though it did. There's like videos of it happening in original Wrath, like on the original Wrath client, but Blizzard just doesn't care. I don't know. It's kind of weird how the client that we have now is totally different, but people forget that all the time. They don't care at all that it's different. But private servers like vanilla versus classic, they were so close together that it's really easy to see the differences.
Yeah, I was real big on because I played, back in Wrath, and like combat was king. Like assassination wasn't, and like there was a huge poison rework towards the end of Wrath that like that's the only reason assassination's being played now, like, is because of that. And then there was a huge armor pen nerf, which It's one of the reasons that, you know, combat like isn't like the best, you know, so like, yeah, there's a lot of different stuff and it's always really weird. I mean, part of me is kind of like, it thinks it's kind of neat, but at the same time, like, it is definitely weird. Classic's been weird, very weird.
It's kind of weird that you and your friend can be looking at the same thing, and it's two totally different things. Like, I love WoW Classic. I got Deathbringer's Will for really cheap. I only had to pay 50K, and then you tell that to somebody who hasn't played Classic, they've played Original Wrath, and they'll be like, 50,000 gold, and they'll be like panicking.
Who has that kind of money?
Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think like I had nothing to use gold on back in Wrath, so like I don't remember ever even needing to farm or doing anything to like get gold. Like I mean, it was just easy. Like, and like now it's weird because GDKPs are a thing. I mean, I guess they were a thing back in the day, but it was usually a guild taking like one or two extra people to like get stuff for the G Bank and stuff like that. But really, there wasn't much use for it.
They were kind of fringe. They weren't as popular now, but like on Horde for Alina, at least you can't find SR runs. They don't exist. You have to do GDKPs. It's kind of mandatory. You have to join a guild or GDKP. So,
dude, for me,
much different game.
For me at this point, I will not run a trade chat SR run. Like,
not Old War, no.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's like we're gonna do the last two bosses in Nax or something, or like, you know, something like that. But people just leave. You're refilling the group every time. The new people expect to have the full amount of SRs that you have, whether it be 2 or 3. Like, it's just such a big pain in the ass. So, like, honestly, GDKPs have made it to where I'm going to run that because I'm just not going to waste my time doing an SR run where if it was the only thing, I would do it, you know, like, but if it's a group of friends, hell yeah, we're doing SR, right? But if it's like, I need to find something with, you know, somewhat strangers, I'm just going to go GDKP, and it's a bummer.
So it's a lot like retail, where like you log into retail and you're like, okay, I want to kill the bad guys. How do I kill the bad guys? Okay, I need this organized group of friends that everybody treats like a job. I need to take it really seriously, or I need a lot of money. And those are your two options. You can't just like log in and play with people you don't know, you know?
Yeah. Well, so coming back for Classic, if you were like a super private server guy, like coming back for Classic was probably a no-brainer then, right? Like you were just like planning on it.
Yeah, and also I didn't have a job, and I made a ton of money leveling characters and selling gold on private servers. And so I was like, well, I could probably make a bunch of money on Classic, and I did. People took it way more seriously. So that was kind of fun. I didn't even raid like for the first. I think I started raiding in AQ because I was just farming gold all the time and selling it. But it wasn't super fun. Also, there were like the quest scripting.
Hold on. So you were doing the WoW. Wait, you said you thought the WoW token was gross, but now you said you were selling gold. I gotta call this back here.
I should have been permanently banned from the game instantly and never allowed back in. But but yeah, anybody who sells WoW gold knows that like it. I don't know. I don't know anybody who's sold gold who agrees with the WoW token, and I don't know anybody who's bought gold who doesn't think it's at least okay. So it's kind of like that's how, like, I don't know which side you're on or whatever, but yeah, it was weird on private servers. People, there were no you just registered with your email, and so you could make a new email and then make an account for the server, and you could give somebody the email. Whereas like on Classic, you need like a credit card to like pay the money. So only like 5 times I actually logged on people's accounts and leveled their characters. It was way easier to just trade gold and then they buy boosts. So it was kind of a different meta. But yeah, I made like way more money. Like I don't know. It was like I don't know. Actually,
did you multi-box or anything? Like with like you said, you played mage.
Yeah. Like I leveled by 1 to 60 to Guy's Mage like a few months into Classic, and it took me 2 or 3 weeks, but I just AoE leveled it. But you paid me like over $1,000. That's how seriously people were
Damn.
taking this. So yeah.
I
Damn.
remember people selling accounts for over $1,000 back in vanilla on
Mhm.
eBay. Like that
Oh,
was
yeah.
the thing.
Oh,
It'd be
yeah.
like $2,500. It's like, dang. But I had a question. Where did it go?
Yeah, I mean, back in original vanilla, I can tell you firsthand, I saw a few different accounts sell.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're quitting and you have a ton of gear, it only makes sense if you can.
Yep.
Did you sell your gold straight to the people? Like you didn't use like a third party website? Like you just went like, if
Yeah,
you don't mind saying.
that's why I could upcharge so much. It's because it's human farmed gold, and it was people in the guilds that I were in, and if I wasn't in their guild, I would like put an alt in their guild, and then I would just run up to them, and then I would death roll them, and then if I won the death roll, I would say reverse rules, right? And then they would say yep, and then I trade them the gold, and it was completely like.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. Wow. Wow. I've heard the G-Bank one and stuff like that, but I hadn't heard, because there was no G-Bank in vanilla, but I hadn't heard the death roll thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you trade gold between two people in the same guild, it's really hard for Blizzard to even like know that you're doing anything at all. So it's kind of untraceable. Like I don't know. So it wasn't that bad, and it wasn't like I was in a reasonably serious guild, and so I was kind of like it wasn't really like I was profiting off of it. I was like being a support for them, and then they were like I was like funneling gold so that way they could get their stuff, so that way they could go make the guild better.
Right.
Boy, dude, I feel like I was a dork. Freaking I had a guy Sylv in our guild who had like 5 mages, had 5 accounts that he was using retail gold to pay for the accounts with the WoW token, and he farmed a ton of gold, and I had to get the edge masters because all that dropped for us was axes, and so I had to get the edge masters, and the price kept going up. So I was like, all right, loan me the gold, and then Mel and I just spent forever in Moradon, and then once we geared up a little more, forever in jump runs just to pay him back. Like, that's what we did. We just watched shows on. It was before I really streamed much WoW. We just watched shows while we grinded. Yeah.
Glorious.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing with ZF and ZG mage farming, just AoEing for hours.
That's awesome.
I level all of my druids AoE leveling right now, and people are like, dude, how do you AoE grind for like 10 hours in a row? It's like, dude, it's fun. And I used to play mage, and I used to love like frost mage farming.
No.
AoE, I mean, it is challenging. Like Mel and I, we both made mages. We probably made it harder for us because we tried to duo. Like there were like in the ZF one where you're jumping from the one side of the wall to the other side of the wall. We could do that like solo, but then we tried to do a duo and we just kept fucking it up. But like it took a lot of work. Like that was not an easy thing to do. Like that, you know, like it looked easy because all the creators, the YouTube videos, you know, they don't show you the tons of hours it took to get that good, you know?
And all the time that they spent figuring it out, I still like whenever you're level 40 on a mage, like getting to the ZG or the ZF graveyards, it's so annoying. You get days off your mount once and you're just like, well, I guess like, I don't know. And then the reset spots don't make any sense. Like you just hide behind this rock and then everything resets, even though you're like right next to them.
Yeah.
Right.
When I saw that for the first time, I was like, that doesn't actually work. I ran in there and I was like, son of a bitch, it fucking works.
Yep. Yep. And I remember I would always jack up. So when you go in there, the mage, you're going to do the wall strat. I would always screw up. Like I'd get in the reset spot. Then I would go climb the wall jump up, and then you're supposed to jump across, right? You're supposed to like, I forget exactly. You like fall in one spot, then jump across another spot, and then you get to that wall part. I would always fall right after I got past the boss, like right over above the boss. I'd fall into that little like crack, like in the corner behind a rock, and then I'd get stuck and couldn't get out. I don't know if it was because I was a gnome or what, but I would always screw that up and be like, I don't know. That brings back memories. That was fun. All right, well, so Horde or Alliance?
I like the Horde races better. Like Orc and Troll are just so good. Like it's ridiculous. Whenever I'm playing a mage and it's not a troll, it's just a worse experience. Point blank, it's just worse. But then whenever I was a kid and I played like originally, I always played Alliance, and I have everything Alliance memorized. So I like the Alliance cities and towns and stuff and the lore better. But
Same.
I wish I could be like a Alliance troll mage. That would be like super cool, or like an Orc Alliance rogue.
See, I'm a weirdo. I just like to be humans. I rarely play anything that I'm not human. I just like pretending it's me. I'm a dork.
It gets kind of boring because like as a rogue, they're so like people don't realize how good the human racial is. They think it's just good for raiding, but like while leveling, it's even way more good. Like people think it's like whatever you think it's doing for raiding, it's like 80 times better while leveling because you're fighting mobs that
and
are
you're talking about the swords and maces specialization. Yep.
Yeah, how it affects the hit table while you're attacking. Like I did I made a video about I was gonna do hardcore and I was gonna do it naked. And even that, like tons of people were like, so you were gonna be why didn't you go Night Elf rogue for the 1% dodge? And I'm like, because I might not dodge. What do you mean? Like that's not it doesn't whereas I could have literally more damage every single time that I'm hitting anything ever. Like
a ton
human
more.
racial is affecting every mob that you fight, and the faster I kill things, like as soon as the mob dies, it doesn't matter what health I'm at as long as I'm not dead. So
and the way glancing blows work and everything too, like it's huge.
There's no I like human, but it's so if I'm Alliance, I almost have to be human. So I've leveled like probably like over 10 Alliance human rogues, like male and female. I think like 7 of them are female, but like it gets boring. I want to do something else, but it's just so much worse. So I always just end up going human.
Did you
so
play?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Did you play Season of Mastery? And would you like some of these changes that you're talking about now in Season of Mastery 2? Like whatever they call it, like you could be an Alliance that had dwarf racials, or you could be a Tauren that had troll racials.
That'd be cool. I didn't play Season of Mastery because I was going hard on TBC. But if they release Season of Mastery right now, I'd roll on it and make a character right now. I'd stay up all night. It'd be fun as fuck, you know.
Hell yeah,
dude! How'd you survive TBC? Because I just geared up my rogue at the end of TBC, just cheap GDKPs at the very end, like. But rogue was rough in TBC.
I got in a guild where I could secure warglaves, which was the only thing that mattered. And then I just kind of messed around. I leveled a whole bunch of characters. I leveled like half the characters that I have now in TBC, and I played my hunter a lot. The hunter rotation was really, really fun. It's a new change because hunter wasn't like that in original TBC or on private servers. They're all kind of the what do you call it? The like just weave steadies between autos spec. It's not the like weave everything that you can between autos spec, but that was really fun. Like, so I mostly just min-maxed that and tried to do as much damage as I could. And I did like way more damage than anybody else in my guild. But I got the main hand warglaive and then the offhand never dropped. And then in Sunwell, my guild wiped on Fell Mist like 30 times in a row. And I just left and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to get the warglaves. So then I joined the guild that I'm in now.
I guess you did it right, man. Like I had the most fun in TBC at the very end, gearing my warrior and my rogue, and I had so much fun. and I hated life the entire time prior to that, playing a freaking warlock. Like, I was getting 99 parses all over the place. I was hitting one freaking, well, I made 4 different Shadow Bolt macros that did different things, but it was still 4 Shadow Bolt macros.
Warlock's got all the gear that I wanted, and you hated playing a Warlock? At least you got gear.
I hated it. It was so like seed or bolt. And yes, there's little min-max things you could do with different things, but it was so minute, and it wasn't a fun rotation, and it just it was horrible. Like, and I had a blast in GDKPs where I knew nobody, like, and was just having a blast, like, at the end, you know, doing Hyjal and Black Temple and Sunwell, and the rogue wasn't even doing any damage anywhere, and I was still having a blast. Like, it was just like, yeah, I hated it.
I probably would have liked Warlock because I love AoE packs, especially in Old War. Like the Vezex Trash is my favorite as a Boomy. And Boomies had like no AoE in TBC. We had a Hurricane on a 1-minute cooldown. That was it. And usually, as soon as you cast that Hurricane, you're getting interrupted by something. Something will spawn out of the Nether Realm and just interrupt your cast. And you're like, okay, well, 59 seconds left till I can do that again. But, dude, I would love casting Seed of Corruption on all that Hyjal trash, man. I'd be stoked. I'd be like spamming my keybind, like, yeah.
Seed was kind of interesting in certain ways to min-max it, to get it to pop like at the right times, and like.
Yeah, there were seed sets, right? Like seed sets of gear.
We did have seed, yeah.
Or crit or something, right?
Well, we would drop hit and get more crit, basically. Like, and like, that was a little cool, like, but it was still just like, yeah. And like, everybody was like, summon now, Warlock, summon now. And it's like, okay.
We need cookies. Drop this.
Cookies. Warlocks, do better. I'm like, I'm pressing 2 as fast as I can.
Oh my god.
Oh man, actually, my 2 of my Shadow Bolt macros were on the wheel. It was just, and I had one of the mouses that you could unclick it, and then you could just spin the wheel like you would a wheel on a skateboard. Just let it go. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's get to your content, because I first found you months ago, and you've made me very popular and a very good member of my guild, because I have been skipping Mim Trash forever now, thanks to you.
It's the worst thing ever. I'm just saying. Mim Trash was so fun. People dying to the sappers made me so happy every raid. And now every week our paladin does the skip for us while we're doing REI. And I'm like, no. Now we get to just skip Pat. No.
I will say that the Squid Games that have come, I think those are actually really fun, where everybody starts and you just go, and whoever makes it, you know, like that's pretty fun. But it made things, especially when you're just raiding for so long, that big of a skip is a huge time save for casual guilds and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the first time I found you, and then you've helped me tremendously with different rogue guides. So like, yeah, like tell us about your YouTube channel. When did you start it?
I started it very recently, actually. So I've been working a like tech support kind of job that's like pretty dead end, and so I've been like, I don't want to do this my whole life. What do I want to do? And I've always kind of wanted to be like an author, or like kind of make things. So I kind of started to explore that, and I was like, well, people blog, right? I could be a blogger. Let's see how blogging is. And I was like, maybe I could blog about WoW. And you can't blog about WoW. And I learned that the reason you can't blog about WoW is because the average blog reader in the United States is 42 years old. So if you're blogging, only really old people read blogs. And I was like, well,
blogs were super popular back in the day. I get it, but yeah.
Yeah, and those people still, like, whenever they first got popular, they got popular with like, you know, late 20s, 30-year-olds, and now those people are 40 years old. And so they're all still reading blogs and not doing anything else. And then I was like, well, what are young people doing? And then I looked it up, and they were like, well, it's all like 25 to 35. We're just on YouTube nonstop. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. I'm on YouTube all day, every day. So that's kind of why. So I was like, maybe I can make YouTube videos. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll give it a shot. And then I was like, well, I could just start like a WoW channel and see how that goes. And so I started making WoW YouTube videos at the start of this year. And I was at the end of my first month, I was like scrubbing for subscribers. I had like 16 or something. And I had made a paladin leveling guide, which was getting like, I think it got like 1,000 or 2,000 views. And I was like, okay, this is good. I was like experimenting around with stuff. And I had like 42 subscribers. And I was like, man, maybe I'm going to get 50 subscribers by the end of the month. It's in like 3 days. And I had World War was like, it had just come out or something like that. And so I was like, okay, rogues are supposed to do the trash skip thing. This is right up my alley. I love doing utility stuff like this that, I can use the tools in the rogue kit to help my raid in this like immense way. So I was like, I'm gonna have to learn this anyway. Let me just try and do this. My guild doesn't PTR, so I didn't do it on the PTR at all. And one of my guild runs had stopped at Mimron. So I was like, I think that hallway respawns if you don't kill Mimron. So I jumped in the raid and I just kind of practiced for a while. And I was like, let me look up a YouTube video. And there was like one YouTube video of like a Chinese guy doing it, like blasting music. And I was like, all these videos are garbage. I'm going to make a video. So I like blew off work the rest of the day and I just made that video. It took me like 1 or 2 days or something, but I was like so pumped up. I was so hyped and I made it. And I posted it in like every Discord that I knew. And then I went to sleep. And then I woke up the next day and I had over 150 subscribers. So I passed my 50 subscriber goal. And then after that, it just kind of taken off from there. And then I've just kind of been doing like random other ideas, like the World War Secrets video and stuff like that. And some of them just blow up, and other ones kind of just are like whatever.
I really liked your glyph setup for each boss. I actually have it here, like in a separate tab of my BIS item spreadsheet. I've got the glyph page that's all your recommendations on using glyphs.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
There's kind of a lapse in content where like people kind of just copy what people at the top do, but like if you're like spamming feint every 10 seconds to try and get like a 20 DPS increase and it's causing you to die or something like that, you probably just shouldn't be doing it, Like if you're progressing on the fight, then just don't do that at all. So I don't know, stuff like just using the glyph of slice and dice or the glyph of sinister strike, just like more than you'd otherwise need to, just to fill in any gaps that you might have. But it's assumed at the top that you're not going to have any gaps at all. But at the bottom or like for the average player, they're going to have like big gaps. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Simonize gives me shit that I use the Sinister Strike glyph quite a bit on quite a few bosses. But I mean, what you said in your video made sense to me about different things. Like I use it on Kolagard because like I don't want to I want to have a chance to not have to re-up slice and dice. Like and like yeah. Like, but I don't follow yours exactly, but it's so cool hearing your thought process and why you do it and different things. And so, yeah, I've really enjoyed your rogue stuff.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm able to kind of formulate my thoughts pretty well, which is kind of why people don't, I guess, make content like that, because they're like scared of saying the wrong thing or something like that. But I don't even follow those glyphs all the time. It's not like a hard rule or anything. Like most of them, like a good amount of the time, I'll have like Glyph of Sinister Strike on, and then we'll be approaching Colo, and I'll be like, okay, I should have like Expose, Fan, and Slice and Dice. But I'm like, yeah, Slice and Dice, Sinister Strike, it's like the same thing. If it Sinister Strike crits and I get the proc, then it does the same thing. So I'm just going to leave it on,
Yep. Yeah. Well, and then you talk about how different kill times and everything influence what you're going to do, whether you are going to use Rupture, whether you are going to use Killing Spree. I mean, Killing Spree is one of the easiest ones to like for people to really wrap their brain around. It's like if the fight's not going to, If the fight's not going to, if you're going to get to use it twice because you used it, cool, right? But like, if you're not, like, there's not really a huge reason to have it. And then certain fights, like, for instance, coming up in TOC, like, you're not going to want to use the glyph of Killing Spree, right? On what's his name, the boss that brings the portals, because
Jiraxis.
yeah, you're going to want to link that with Blade Fury every time, right? So like, you want them to be the same cooldown and stuff, like, so yeah, there's just different things, but you go into different things, different scenarios, which I really like. It is weird that people don't do that more often, but people are scared to say things wrong. Like,
Yeah,
I say
think
shit wrong weekly on this podcast, and I don't care. Like, I will correct myself if somebody shows me something. Like, I'll correct it the next week. But
I think that's the biggest thing that, like, I don't know if it holds people back, but like I'm kind of scared to tell people parse stuff, because like I don't have like a how to parse on a rogue video for War, because in a parse guild we legitimately don't care and we have no idea what's going on until the last minute. Then we copy everyone's notes, throw them together, and try and do it like a little bit better than they've done it. Like, we're gonna, like, I don't know if you guys know this, we're zero staging Freya right now. You go in and you kill Freya. That's how this is gonna work. In the final stages of Ulduar, because
yeah,
but like nobody can.
You just keep wiping it until you get Ednar first, right?
Yeah, until you get a tree first.
Yeah, the big tree first.
The past, like, maybe month, we've been wiping it until tree first, or you need, as a rogue, you need tree, or what is it? You need the detonating lashers or the triple pack in the first 2 spawns, or else you're going to pop Blade Flurry, and then you're going to miss a chance of Blade Flurry because you held it for the 3rd spawn, and then you'll go from 2 Blade Flurries from 3 to 2, and then you kill her on the 4th. But now the meta's evolved to where, like, nobody can predict the exponential power of, like, how much better people are going to get at the raids, or like what people are going to discover. So it's really constantly evolving. So the thing about, like, it kind of sucks to make it like a parsing video like that, because you'll make a parsing video, like, and the parsing video will be like, here's how you parse on Hodir and Vizax, and now those are removed from All Stars because of crazy stupid strategies that are implemented now. But you don't know that whenever you're making the video, so you're giving bad advice and you're wrong, and people are, like, scared to be wrong. But one thing that I like about WoW is that it's a video game. You can just be wrong. Like, I kind of, I'm like the most like, I don't know. I should make a whole video about this, about how, like, people are kind of terrified of messing up, but you should, like, want to mess up. That way you can laugh at yourself, and it's like the biggest, like, confidence thing that you can ever do, like, in a raid. Is like, the worst thing that you can do is, like, mess up and then not say anything, and then people be like, why'd you mess up? And then you just go like, oh, I didn't actually mess up. I almost did it right. Because then it's just, I don't know.
People always think I'm weird in raid because I'm like, yeah, that was my fault. I did this, 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 and this. They're like, you just didn't need to tell us. And I was like, yeah, but I want to. Like, I'll ask dumb questions in raid too that I know the answer to, or at least I think I know the answer to. Sometimes I'm wrong. Somebody answers and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not how I thought it was. But oftentimes I'll just ask because I know no one else is going to ask. And I know other people are confused too. Like, so why not just, like, I don't care. I just care about being right at the end. And I think that's, like, sounds like what your motto is. Like, if somebody can show you.
Doesn't matter how many times you mess up, as long as you just eventually get it right once. And people, YouTube's kind of like that too, because if you mess up and you make a bad video, YouTube won't show it to anybody. But if you make a better video the next week, YouTube will show it to everybody, and everyone will be like, oh, all your videos are amazing. And then they haven't seen over half your videos because it just doesn't get pushed to them. So it's a great perspective on life to have, is just failure is totally okay. Like, even trying to think, was it my Thursday raid? I was on my Hunter, and I was alt tabbing and playing Diablo at the same time, and I literally killed the tank by trap weaving on Thorim. I bounced the chain lightning to him, and I one shot him, and I almost wiped us. We had to battle res him, and I was like, oh man, that was insanely bad. I can't believe that I did. That's like a newbie thing. Like, I have a giant weak war on my screen telling me not to do that, and I did it, and I just admitted it. I was like, I totally killed you there. That was 100% my fault. and nobody really cared. We just did the raid anyway. But
Right.
some people, that destroys them, and they quit the game over the shame, and there's all these emotions and stuff.
Dude, on Thorum, I did a killing spree for the first half of Old War. Just because I was
scary,
like, I do not want to be the reason that I wipe. And then one time I went on Thorum taking, and I was wearing my threat trinkets, and I'm wearing rune stone and all this stuff, and I died. I was like, yeah, my bad. Full trees now.
Mm-hmm.
Your boomkin that had to battle res might not have said they were upset, but they were mad. Let me tell you.
Whatever.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Well, so
like lunar eclipse. No.
What are your plans for the future of the YouTube? Are you just gonna keep doing or do you do any other YouTube channels? Like, is this like a learning process for you to move on to something else, or is? I just asked because like Classic seems to be coming to somewhat of an end. Like, so I was just curious.
Well, there'll always be like something to do, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, YouTube's kind of a skill, so I'm kind of just trying to get better at it and see if I can keep developing it for really any kind of YouTube channel, I guess. But yeah, also learn more about digital marketing and stuff, so that way, if I do maybe years from now write a few novels or books or anything like that, I could not sign with a publishing company and get like no money for it. I could just market it myself. So career wise, I guess like that. But as far as YouTube wise, you kind of have to you just like chill, post like every once in a while, do whatever you want, and then whenever like a new trend pops up, you spam about the trend. And so if I have like a ton of pash when that thing happens, like hardcore servers come out, I have a few videos that I could post. Like I know a lot of stuff about vanilla leveling because I've leveled every class in vanilla at least 3 times now, just from people paying me or like me doing it for no reason. And so I have some stuff that I could share that I think would be pretty valuable to people, but like I need to it's more about capitalizing on trends, right? Like I've spoken
Google
to a few other
Trends.
YouTubers.
Yep.
Yeah. You really have to and YouTube even shows you in the analytics what your viewers are watching. So I know like I just kind of go in there and I look at that stuff and I go, do I want to make that stuff, but like in a better or like kind of contrarian way, like with a spin? And if the answer is like, nah, I don't really feel like it, then I either do my own thing, like the WoW token thing. Like I was like, I'm not gonna just make a WoW token video. I'll like do my own kind of thing. But
It was
I don't know.
hilarious.
Whenever those kind of creative things, like it's really hit or miss. I don't know. I want to capitalize on enough trends to where I can just do whatever kind of stuff all the time. But I think I'd need like at least like maybe 8 to 10K subscribers for that. So I don't know. I'm just gonna take it as long as it goes. I mean, I've been making. It hasn't even been a full WoW tier that my YouTube channel's been out. So most people are like there was a ton of uptick in traffic around Wrath launch. So I just need to be around for those trends. I'm sure there'll be one with ICC, and I'm sure I'll be able to hype myself up and make a ton of stuff that hopefully will help a lot of people. And yeah, just keep pushing stuff like that, and then keep growing and watching the growth. The growth is the best part. I love just watching the trends and everything and seeing like what people actually like. But yeah, it's kind of hard to like I go in there and I see nothing but TBC videos and I have TBC footage, but like I just don't really feel like an expert, but like I don't know. So that's kind of hard, but yeah, I guess just I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, I guess.
I feel like that's something I hear from a lot of YouTubers. Like one of my really good friends, he ended up making a YouTube channel in 2019, and he made it just for VR. It's called Thrill Seeker VR, and he was like, Bob, I got to make like 6 different videos, and then I get to make the one that I want to make, and then I got to make 6 more of the stuff I don't want to make. But I mean, he blew up. I mean, he has like a few different videos with millions of views, and he's got like, I don't know, 600K subs and everything. It's just like, how much do you want to do it? So it seems like you enjoy that part of it. Whereas me, I make this podcast and everybody's like, you could like really capitalize on clips. And I'm like, yeah, but I just made this podcast because I want to talk to people about WoW Classic. Like I don't really like, I don't know. Like, I don't really want to do all that other stuff, but like, it seems like you really enjoy that stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, I really like the other stuff, and I really one thing that kind of kept me from doing anything in the public eye for a really long time. I really don't like being famous or people recognizing me or knowing me. Like people will like I'll be watching a YouTube video and then literally like right in the middle of the YouTube video, they'll be like, Kippzo has a video on this, check it out here. And they'll link it and I'll just take my headset off and just go outside. And I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
oh, I did not expect to see myself in the video. I'm just watching. I don't want to participate or anything, but
I'm kind of
yeah,
here
I
and
like the
there.
marketing side. I like the business side. I like the management, all that kind of stuff, how it all works. I want to, I want to be one of those guys who's like, "Oh no, my YouTube channel got deleted. I'm going to make another one tomorrow. Let's get started again. Like let's go fresh."
So you've got a store on your page that I'm checking out. I don't know a lot of YouTubers that actually have like a store. So do you want to talk about your store a little bit?
Yeah, I've experimented with a lot of different monetization methods, and that is an absolute failure. Not a single person has ever bought anything other than me.
Really?
So,
Is that you
yeah,
modeling the clothes?
no, that's
Okay.
some
It's
random
got like the
person.
same facial hair, so I was like, maybe that's him.
I thought it was cool. I thought the idea was cool. I was like,
It
all
looks
all
cool to me, man.
gaming gear is like kind of cringy and stuff. It has like murlocs on it, and people are like, "What is that thing on your shirt?" But I was like, "What if I made something that actually looked like a clothing brand or something like that?" But it didn't really take off. I don't think WoW gaming nerd dudes buy clothes at all. Like I haven't bought any new clothes in like a year, so yeah, I don't know. I kind of just leave it up just because I bought the domain name, but I might take it down if it gets kind of cringy, I guess. But I've tried a few different things. The rested XP link is like probably the most like easy thing to go to that you can just kind of affiliate market and get some good returns on. And then I also sold coaching to people, and I believe like 7 or 8 people have bought it. And I kind of stopped promoting it because I don't know if I'm good at it. Like nobody's ever bought another session before, and I kind of like I'll like check their logs like later, and it'll be slightly better. But I don't know if it's because of me or if it's I don't know. So and I don't really I kind of like doing it, but at the same time, it's kind of like me just talking at people. It's not really like a conversation. And then if it is a conversation, it feels like they're wasting their money. They want like a lot of value, me giving it to them for an hour or something. So I kind of stopped doing that just because it wasn't really that fun. But yeah, I've been since I'm so interested in the business side, I've kind of been just messing around with all kinds of monetization. But I've kind of stopped that because talking to other YouTubers, they say like after a certain point, you can just kind of live off the ads, and you should kind of just like aim for that initially and then maybe work in some sponsorships. But until then, just focus more on growth than anything else. So I've kind of shifted my perspective to that at this point than like
Interesting.
focusing on promoting anything else.
You talked about being famous, and it's interesting because, like, I love being recognized at, like, when I was doing the Overwatch stuff, like Overwatch Grand, finale and Overwatch, different tournaments and things. That's awesome. Or at BlizzCon, right? But then I would not want to be the type of famous where you go to the grocery store and people recognize you. Like, I don't want that at all. So I get that, but it is kind of fun to, like, in certain settings, have a little bit of fame.
But you've got a disguise now, so no one's going to recognize you unless they've been watching. If they've only been listening and they saw you a couple months ago and then they saw you now, like, they wouldn't know who you
with
were.
the stash. Well, dude, actually, we were at the Dallas homestand for the Dallas Fuel, and I was wearing my Fuel jersey, and it said Blazing Bob on the back. And I was in the bathroom, and I was like washing my hands, and the guy was like, "Blazing Bob." He was really drunk. He was like, "The podcast guy?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You're not as fat as I thought you would be." And I was like, and at the time I didn't think much of it, but then like 15 minutes later, I was like, what does he mean? As fat? Oh, man. Oh, man. But yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I was just curious about that because I find it kind of fun to be like little itty bitty famous, like, but like true famous, like, ew, that sounds horrible and just bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like. I don't really like attention. Even if people are like, if people are like, whenever people are singing you happy birthday and it's like positive attention, and you're just sitting there and you're like, I don't know what to do. It's kind of like
It's
that kind of
awkward.
thing.
I feel
Mhm.
awkward. Like I usually, like if I do an AV, 1 out of every 2, like if it's AV weekend, 1 out of every 2, if I'm like the name's similar to to Blaze and Bob, like if Blaze and Bobby, whatever, like I'll get a tell or two, like 1 out of every 2 games. And they're saying thank you. Like I've had very few like people say, dude, you're dog shit, even though I am pretty dog shit. But most of it's nice, but it is weird. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Like, but you don't know what to say. Like
Mhm.
it's great, but it's also weird at the same time. So yeah, I
Yeah,
get
I'd
that.
rather just be invisible. Do a real life rogue, just stealthing around.
Oh well, what about streaming? Because you do stream, right?
I stream sometimes because I can autosave the VOD and then export it to YouTube, but then I can like use the footage rather than like local recording it. But I've tried it out, and I've had like a few people come in, and I have like conversations with them in the chat, but I just don't really like. I don't know if it's for me. I think I'd rather just stick to YouTube because I don't really like having to be entertaining or anything. I don't know. Most people that I talk to or I'm like friends with say that I'm funny, but I don't really like the expectation or something. Like, I don't know. I find it kind of easier to like think about, I don't know, like provide more value in like a condensed like video than an entire stream where you're like kind of pushing yourself to be like entertaining or something the entire time. Because I watch a lot of streams, and 90% of the time I just have it on to have it on, and I don't really like, not really like expecting anything. But then some people are in the chat like
Dance, monkey, dance.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. If I was doing something like that I think people would want to watch just baseline. Like I've been watching Wudajo race to level 100 hardcore first in Diablo. He's level 77. I've been watching him, but he's not like trying to be entertaining. He's just doing the thing that people want to watch. So if I'm doing something that people want to watch, then sure, I'll do it. But I don't want to like be like a personality or anything, I guess, which kind of sucks because being like a famous personality is a great business move because people buy stuff from people that they like. There's never a time where people spend money and they don't like the person selling the thing. So if you could be like Zaryu or something like that, like Zaryu with his cookbook, or I'm trying to think of
Well,
other examples,
I don't know if
but
any
like
of us are ever going to be as good looking as him, though. I mean, he's got it made, doesn't he?
yeah, that is a good point. That is a good point. But I
Speaking
guess
of Zarya,
like Kargaz is a great example. I want to be like Kargaz. That guy is a genius. Like the whole Rested XP thing, he went for like he doesn't even stream anymore. He's entirely in the background. Like I used to think he was kind of like okay, he's kind of bad. He plays with the like Diablo theme on his WoW. He does all the hardcore stuff. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then the Rested XP business thing, that has been such a massive success. I'm so envious. He's like one of the like he's an inspiration for me, I guess, with the YouTube stuff. I really hope I can do something like that someday. That was his. I don't know. That
Yeah,
I'm so impressed. Yeah.
I've loved Cargos for forever, and finally actually got to like we had talked a few times, but finally got to actually really get to know him and meet him at TwitchCon. We just spent like it was a bunch of us that spent a ton of time together and just became really close really fast. But he's definitely yeah, he's an entrepreneur. He's the definition of an entrepreneur. Like he's really cool and really fun to pick his brain and everything else. Oh, well, yeah, I was just asking because I know you stream because I follow you because after one of your videos, you said that you stream and I was like, oh, and I went and found you. And then one day I raided you and I remember sitting there for like 5 minutes and be like, hey, I just raided you.
Yeah.
Notice me.
I saw that. I had the I saw that you rated me like 12 minutes ago one time, and I had the audio off because I was just in Discord talking to one of my friends. But yeah, I don't. I think if I could get like a few thousand followers, then every time that you turn on the stream, expect somebody to be there, expect to entertain that person. But I have like 50 or something. Most of the time, I'm gonna have 0 viewers. There's not really that much point in putting effort into it, you know.
I mean,
So
people
if
might just want to come and ask you questions about your videos. I mean, not every streamer is entertaining. I mean, the ones the most successful ones I think probably usually are, but like people might just want to like just jump in and be like, hey, I just watched your video, I've got a question about this, and it's, you know, it's not a YouTube comment, but you know, it's kind of a back and forth. It could be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think I've had 1 or 2 of those, but it's hard to like even just streaming for like 2 or 3 hours, it's hard to notice the people in the chat, I guess. I need like an alert for whenever people type or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's the kind of thing like I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not like gung ho on the whole streaming thing. But yeah,
It's definitely a skill you get going. I remember Salv Dali, he was on, first time he was on episode 6 of this. We're at 155, but one of the best advices I've heard him give to other streamers or people starting out is just, you're thinking in your head, just say what's in your head. Like, even if it's about a show you just watched last night, like, even if it's not about the game, like, just think out loud. I was like, that's a really good point. I don't do it well, but like, I'm just saying, like, if you could do it well, like, that's what Salv Dali does, right?
Yeah, I think I could definitely do that, but not for like hours on end to 0 viewers. It's just brutal, you know. You're putting in all that effort. I'd rather spend that time on a YouTube video that I know, you know, could, like, people are watching my YouTube videos right now and I'm not even doing anything, you know.
Yep.
That's what I think is cool about them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely weird in the beginning. It's definitely weird. But I mean, at the same time, like, I don't know. I've found it to be, I only started streaming regularly when I started hardcore, and I just wanted a record, like a full record of me doing it. And then I just ended up being like, well, chat's a cheat. Chat's a total cheat. Because like, some people come to streams to learn. People come to my stream to teach me. It works out great, you know? So that or troll me, but you know, I don't know. Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to touch on before we go ahead and end out the show?
No, I think that's it. I think I'm glad to join the list of esteemed guests that you've had on here. You've had like all of the people that I've been watching for years. You've had all of them online or on the show, so I'm happy to join the club.
We're happy to have you at the club. Yeah, it's been a blast, man. I've been so blessed to have so many good people on and just get to talk to them and get to know them, and it's a really cool thing to this whole thing. Yeah, so we're happy to have had you, and I'm sure we'll have you on a again sometime too.
Sure.
Yeah, probably. I will probably do some hardcore stuff whenever that comes out. I don't know how like hard I'll go or anything, because nobody that I know plays hardcore, so I can't be like, yeah, I'm gonna raid immediately, because I don't know if I'm gonna make friends with people who are in guilds who do raids. But yeah, I'll probably be big on something here sometime soon with something at some point. I don't know. And yeah, feel free to have me back on if it's ever relevant.
Awesome. Go, you were going to say something real quick. Looked like.
If I did, it's already gone. I have a short memory. I'm like a goldfish. Just
That happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me end this out real quick. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you'd like to send us something longer, email form, send them to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join our Discord, which is getting bigger by the day, you could go to discord.me/Warcraft Reloaded. If you want to help us in any way with Patreon or anything like that, all of the links are at warcraftreloaded.com, and also the link for the Discord's there. Come help us out. If you are doing any leveling at all in any version of the game, please go to restedxp.com and use code reloaded, or use code. What are your guys' code? Go's got to be Classic Go, right? You don't have a code?
Code? Dude, I don't use add-ons. I can't promote
But
an
you
add-on I
use
don't
Rested
use.
XP because I bought it for you for Christmas last year.
I mean, yeah, I do use it. Yes, it's great. It helps me level.
All right. Well, if you love Go, use code Reloaded. But if you love
There you go.
Kippzo, what's your code?
Kippzo with 2 P's, Kippzo.
Awesome. All right, guys. Where could we find you, Mel?
You can find me on the show. It's usually where I'm at.
And on Discord. Plug the Discord.
Yeah, on Discord. I'm really bad at Discord, but you can find me there.
She reads it all. I was like, well, you need to respond sometimes. And she's like, I put an emoji on it. I put a heart.
Yeah, every time somebody joins the channel, I see that she's reacting to it, like doing the wave.
Yeah, I wave sometimes. Yeah. It really has nothing to do with who it is that I wave to. It's just timing. So, know that if I don't wave to you, it's not intentional.
Yeah, she gets in and she goes down the rabbit hole. And I'm like 15 minutes later, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
All right, Go. Where can we find you?
Mainly on YouTube. Classic GHO is the handle there. And
your fiance told me that the G is silent. That's what your fiance told me. But she was watching my stream instead of your stream when we were doing hardcore. Just saying.
A couple of her friends listen to the show, and their whole group calls me G-Ho or just the Ho. Either one. Yeah, but Go. Just call me Go, please. Don't call me Ho.
Go.
Yeah, I'm gonna ban you from the chat if you do. But next week, Wednesday is the last show. It'll be episode 31, and it's going to be the last episode of a show called The Griffin Go Show, which was a Druid podcast for Classic WoW. Not because I want to, but Griff is stepping back. He's doing more RL stuff, so he's got other commitments. So he's stepping away. But I don't know how much I should announce right now, but June 14th, the following Wednesday, there will be a new show with myself and Scotty J. So that might not be a weekly show, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool. We'll have to have you both on to promote that when it's going to happen. It's cool. Mm-hmm. All right, Kippzo, where else can we find you?
Just Kippzo everywhere. Kippzo.
It's nice to have that name everywhere.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why I picked it.
Yeah,
where does your name come from? Can we slide that in real quick?
I always forget to ask that question.
There's a lot of backstory. I've been trying to find a good gaming name for like a really long time, and I looked up. Like I said, I was into like books and where's my?
Mine does that at times like too. It's weird.
But there's like a whole art of how like authors choose the names for the characters in their books, and I looked into all that, and it didn't really help all that much. It's I got it from the whenever you make a character, there's like the randomized name thing, and that's specific to your race. And I picked Goblin, and it's like an amalgam of Gizmo, I guess, Kippzo. So it kind of fits the rogue theme. It's kind of goblin-y, like engineering, you know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good brand because I'm the only Kippzo anywhere, anything. Like if you type in Kippzo, you just get me. So
that's awesome.
There you go.
That's awesome. All right, guys, you can find me on Twitter at blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me streaming on Twitch and this show live at BlazinBob on Twitch. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Bye.
Peace.
Go's too cool to say bye.
I gave the head nod.
Which is great for audio format. Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.